I started at 15, and I think I got my first management job at 19, 20. So the time, that's the time when you should be out with your friends. So I had to sacrifice a lot. If you're willing to sacrifice and give it 110%, then you'll eventually reap the benefits. But I love hospitality. I believe that I was put on this planet to do that, because I really don't know what else I'll do. I don't want a computer or a robot doing my job. That's why I got in the trade. I love being around people. I take criticism, it's like a stab to the heart almost, because we are there to be criticised. Sometimes it's hard to take, but for me it's then motivates me even more to make it better.
The future of hospitality, is it bright? Is it not?
It's a challenge, and we might have to make some compromises along the way. I mean,
Thomas Burford, General Manager at L'Horizon. Welcome to Hospitality Insights.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation.
No, great having you. Absolutely. We've met Meet the Chefs?
Yeah, we did meet the chefs at Hotel de France. Yeah, which
great event.
Yeah, it was a great event. It was good for us as well, because we've just launched a brand new menu in our grill restaurant. So it was a chance for us to showcase some of the new dishes, obviously in a smaller size of what we're offering in there. So yeah, no, we always enjoy that. It's really important as well. The whole luxury Jersey piece that we're a part of. So yeah, we do enjoy those. It's good fun.
Absolutely. And I've seen so many exciting people, so many things going on, and it's a good way of kind of connecting to your potential customers.
And it was busy as well.
Yeah,
we had a really good turnout. Obviously champagne was flowing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That helped. Yeah, that made the conversation.
Help. But yeah, no, it's always good to see what the competition's doing as well. But I think we all have a good rapport in that room, whilst we're all different businesses, and obviously we're running our businesses, and we're competitors with each other, but it's good to get us all in one room and showcase what Jersey's all about. So yeah, no, it was good, really good.
No, absolutely. And I like that Jersey, at least from what I can recollect from when I was working in hospitality, it's a friendly competition. It feels a bit more like, just because we are on the opposite fences almost, it doesn't mean that we cannot share certain things, that could
definitely. And I think for me personally, I always go around the competitors, because you want to try and set yourself apart from the competitors, but sometimes you walk into them and you can't help but just be in awe of what they do. I won't mention any businesses, but I've been to a few places and I thought, oh God, that's good. I'll go back to my team and we'll talk about it, and what can we do to firstly
use it as inspirational.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And we're on a journey. L'Horizon's on a journey, and we've got aspirations this year, hopefully, to get 3 rosettes. We've got 2 at the moment. So we're really pushing for that. So I take the team out quite a lot to other places that obviously have 3 rosettes or better. I mean, we don't just want to stay at 3 rosettes. We want to go as far as we can. So, but there's a lot. I think we're lucky in Jersey. There's a lot of places that are really good.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And we're quite lucky in that respect. But sometimes I go there and think, oh God, that was bloody good.
I wish it wasn't that good.
I know you do, but also I think you've got to give credit where credit's due. As you've worked in the industry, hospitality. It's a tough gig.
Absolutely.
I take criticism. It's like a stab to the heart almost, because we are there to be criticised. Sometimes it's hard to take. But for me, it's it then motivates me even more to make it better. So I think that's that's
absolutely
important.
And what I like about you, I don't know whether it's you directly or is somebody else doing it for you, but it doesn't really matter. For a business, I think it's really important. And if I'm not wrong, I went on your TripAdvisor and you guys respond to comments, and I like that.
Yeah, I respond. And
it's probably you doing it, because I've seen that it comes under your name.
Yeah,
I like that.
Apart from I'm on holiday, my deputy does it.
Absolutely.
We respond to everything.
I like that.
TripAdvisor, Google. Expedia, Booking.com. The real important players that obviously play a part in the success of our business. But I think it shows that we care as well.
Absolutely.
And I love constructive feedback. I think that's really important. And, generally feedback's, it's been great for us, fantastic. And, we do live in a world where we can't please everybody. We really try.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, that's important because it shows we care, actually. And I share everything with the team, the good, the bad and the ugly, as I call it, and it's great. It's really important that we celebrate our successes, but it's also important that we address maybe some shortfallings in maybe service delivery or whatever it could be, So.
And especially when as you said, when it's a constructive criticism, it brings you closer to what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Well, you're always going to have people where they'll be like, well, this wasn't good. Well, help me with that. What wasn't, I can work with if you give me something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, vague and, you don't really get much out of it.
But then we're good at that as well. So we have we use a feedback side that as soon as a guest checks out, they get sent a survey, which, goes from 1 to 10. And the frustrating bit for me is when you'll have someone that will score you maybe a 5. So it's in the middle and they don't leave any additional comments. And, and we need that feedback, but we're really good. My team in particular are good at then going to the guest saying, listen, we noticed you scored us a 5 on whatever it is. Let's use check-in as an example, and we'll ask the question, why did you only rate us a 5? And listen, sometimes it's user error; they press the wrong number, and sometimes there's a valid reason for it. So then we take that reason and we address it in house, and we make sure we don't make that mistake again. That's what feedback's there for. Absolutely.
But do you guys do this as a group, or is something that you implemented as a general manager at your place?
And one of your questions that you sent me was about what's the advantages of working with the group, and that's one of the advantages. We have really good, robust systems like that. So, we use a system called Revenate across the whole portfolio. So, which scores us for every journey that the guest has, from check-in to check-out, all the bits in between, the interaction with the team. We use that platform across the whole group. So, and it's a great system because it can tell us, the data that we can get from that and the comments around it really helps us shape, quality and service in particular moving forward. It highlights areas that maybe in my hotel we need to address or get better at. So, it was already in before I started, but I do. It's a great platform to use. It really is. Yeah.
How you ended up in Jersey? How you ended up working with the group?
I'd actually applied for a job within Handpicked back in 2019 for a property in the UK, and they came back to me saying, "Listen, we don't, we're looking for." I applied for a general manager role, and they said, "Listen, this hotel's going through a bit of a rough patch. We need someone that's got a bit more experience than you, but we love your CV. We'd like to have a chat to you about other opportunities." And we just got chatting around a couple of different hotels, and Jersey popped up. And initially, I said no. I said I can't move to Jersey. My son was only, I think, 9 at the time. And I thought, I can't really make that work. And they said, okay, we'll come back to you. And then they offered me another role up near Chelsea way. I said, I can't make that work either. And then they came back to me a third time, and I thought, I need to show something. I need to give something. And they said, listen, go. And it was quite clever, actually. Go to Jersey for 8 weeks.
They knew you were going to fall in love with it.
I was like, yeah, I'll do 8 weeks. And I remember it's quite a funny story. So the first, my first night there, I arrived. They put me in a really nice sea view room, and I left the window. I was like, leave the window open. You'll sleep great. I did sleep great. I overslept, and I was late for my first day. I was supposed to be down at 8 o'clock, and I rocked up about 20 past 8. So that wasn't the best of starts. And I just fell in love with the island straight away. And the 8 weeks came really quick. And for me, when I was sent there because, there was a few challenges, and so I went there and fixed, quite a few things quite quickly. And I'm a person that when I start something, I've got to see it through. And we made such quick inroads in those 8 weeks, and then it got sort of extended for another 4. I said, yeah, I'll do another 4, and then that came up. I said, I can't leave, and the rest was history. I'm 5 years in now, so yeah,
you're here to stay now,
and I'm living on the island. My son lives here, my whole family's here, so yeah, it's been amazing. It's been a great 5 years so far.
Yeah, you're not the only one having similar stories where, companies know how to sell, the island to their employees, because it's almost, you can say, almost an easy sell once you hear and you see how beautiful it is, what are the benefits. And okay, there will be drawbacks, and there are, it's probably on an expensive side, and we all know it, but still, you have so much more good than bad.
No, definitely. But again, what the main problem is that when I first got asked about Jersey, I generally didn't know where they were referring to. I thought Jersey in New Jersey, which everyone thinks. So, when I realised it was 40 minutes on a plane, I thought I can do that. Although my first journey here was a bit hairy when we landed. It was quite windy, and I wasn't sure if I could be doing that every week. But no, it's I'm very settled here now, and I love Jersey and everything's got to offer, and for my son as well. To be in a place like Jersey that's really safe, and he's doing well at school. It's been great, really, all around.
How many years of hospitality you've got altogether?
Well, I started at 15, so I've got a few years now.
Well, it's fair to say that if I was to ask a person that how everything changed over the years, you are definitely one of them. So how do you think things changed in this industry?
Well, it's funny because I started when I was 15, where you look back at it now, it was all old school back then. Silver service and. It was more of a butler service back then. And listen, I was a 15-year-old. I was working part-time I was working for Marriott Hotels part-time. A load of my friends worked there from school. I was actually working at home base at the time at the customer service desk. And my friend said to me, "Oh, listen, we need some help at a weekend. Do you fancy being a waiter?" I said, yeah, I'll do that. Because I was only working a couple of days during the week after I'd finished school. So, and I just loved it. I think for me personally, I wasn't very good at school academically. So what I found with hospitality, everything I know now, I've learned through hospitality. I wasn't a great learner in a classroom full of people. I'm a better learner sort of one-to-one. But hospitality gave me something I didn't get through education. And, but bearing in mind, my worst subject was maths, which wasn't, as a general manager, you need to know your numbers. So, which I know very well. So, and I've learned all that through hospitality. So, but yeah, I mean, I've seen, I've worked in different places, I've done country house hotels, I've done privately owned hotels, I've done grouped hotels, I've worked in a wedding and conference business. So I've kind of done everything. But I have to say, I think the leisure market and L'Horizon being right next to the beach is definitely my type of business for sure. Because we're very lucky at L'Horizon where we're situated as well. St. Bernard's Bay, beautiful beach. It's such a unique place.
And with summer coming, it's such a vibrant location. All that
It is. We just need some decent weather this year because last year was tough. So yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate. I say I started at 15, and I'm not old yet, but and I've got a lot to offer still. But I've worked in loads of different businesses, but listen, hospitality is stressful, but there's something different about working in Jersey. I don't know whether it's the sea air. It's still stressful, but I don't know. I think the important thing for me is that when you have downtime, it's really important that you have good quality downtime. And I feel that in Jersey, when you have downtime, it have that.
It offers you that, yeah.
It really does. And it's different, back in the UK. I don't know. There's just something really different about it. So, it works for me, and hopefully it works for the people I work for. But yeah, so... Yeah,
but have things changing better? What changing better? What changing worse? In your opinion, throughout the years. What are your main challenges basically now comparing to, let's say?
Well, main challenge at the moment is I think there's loads. I mean, I think we're trying to make the business profitable. I think that's really difficult now with rising costs, and I mean. The costs. I mean, listen, I work for a group of hotels where the majority of them 18, 17 of them are in the UK. So when I look at the UK cost base to Jersey, there's a big difference, in linen cost and everything else. So my biggest challenge at the moment is to challenge those costs and make us profitable. But, we can't just keep throwing everything onto the guest either. So the other challenge is to make sure that what we do, we're the best at doing that and offering, unique sort of magical guest experiences. That's the journey that we're going on at the moment. Recruitment's always a challenge. I'm quite lucky. I've got a team that have been with me now on a journey. We're trying to grow and evolve the business. So we've created a number of new roles this year. But to recruit for them is difficult. Licensings, we have a certain amount of licenses. So when we create new roles, we don't have the licenses for those roles unless we sort of rob Peter to pay Paul. So it's a bit of a balancing act. It's difficult because, that not a lot of people in Jersey, if we're being honest, want to work in hospitality.
True.
And, but I think, you look at the challenges, but I do believe that we're on a journey now. Obviously, we've got a new chief minister who knows hospitality really well, so that's going to help. I was recently at the JH meeting where he spoke, and that was really promising. All the work that Visit Jersey are doing around kind of really rejuvenating, what we do and how they market the island and stuff is really exciting. I think some of the non-board members that they've appointed for the JHA know that obviously we've got subsectors and stuff. So we're going in the right direction. We've got people that know the industry. I suppose now we just need to be listened to. And help us, because it's a tough gig out there, and I suppose my biggest challenge is trying to find chefs,
especially when you want to push for your.
But that's it
for the third rolls.
But that's
and
it.
Go even further,
and it's trying to find. They've just disappeared, and handpicked who I work for. They're really good because they do chefs academies and stuff back in the UK, but there isn't a need to do that in Jersey because we don't have anybody that's wanting.
You don't really benefit, I guess, from what the group does in the UK, right?
And we do some great stuff, but the UK and Jersey are very different. And there's and we work a lot with the Highlands colleges. We've had some good success from that as well. I've got
but there's so many people fighting for the same pool of people.
But there is, and I've got two chefs that have been with us now. They were there before I was there, so they've been with us on a journey 6-7 years. And we've watched them grow and they've moved up the ranks, but there hasn't been anything else coming through since then. So, but it's a challenge. It really is. But
do you guys have accommodation for most of your stuff, or?
Well, listen, I'm lucky at Laurel's because we have a lot of accommodation. I mean, I have 88 rooms inside the hotel, so it's almost like running two hotels. I've got a 106 bedroom hotel and I've got 88 staff rooms.
Wow.
Which I can imagine it's hard to balance sometimes, especially in the summer when we're at the peak. And then we've got a house up the road and we've got a lease in another building. So I'm lucky in the sense of accommodation. But sometimes I have accommodation empty because I can't find the people to put in there. But I think we're lucky as well. Obviously, we've got the Grand that's situated in St Helier, and I think recruitment for us is a bit easier than it is for them. We have more accommodation, which helps, but it's finding the right people. And, we don't... I think when you look back at COVID, we went through a phase of you just take anybody on. And that's not how I like to operate, but we were in a situation where that's how it had to be. And so recruitment for us and where we're situated, I feel is a lot easier than perhaps some of the businesses in town. But we have a lot of accommodation, which is a plus for us. But without the licenses to match those, it's hard.
I don't think. Are they working on licenses? I know they extended periods and, they made it slightly better, but not to the point that it's a walk in the park.
I mean, do you know, I was talking to my team today about it, and, what we need to show within our business is that we've tried everything to recruit locally. And I said to the team, we need to make sure that we have, proper documented conversations, and we can't just say we've tried and they're not going to accept that. So I think there is a bit of give in that. And I've told the team, we need to make sure that we have done everything, which we do. We're going to an event next week to try and get some local people to come and work for us. So we're doing everything we can, but, we need a little bit more help, I think.
Who are the main, what are the areas where you recruit from? If, let's say, Jersey's not, which we all know it, you try, but eventually it's not going to get you far. Are you guys the same? Africa, Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. But I like to have a balance as well. So we have a good balance at Lorazon. I've got people from Kenya. I've got people from Romania. I've got people from Spain. I've got people from the UK, Bulgaria, you name it. And we've got a really nice balance, which we'll continue to do that. We've always operated like that. We do have a good balance because I think, you need to have, multicultural people from different countries, and they all bring something different.
Yeah, ideas. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I enjoy as well. And, I can honestly say, I've got a fantastic team at the moment. I've been there 5 years. I say 3 because we lost 2 because of COVID. But, I'd say my team at the moment is without question the strongest it's ever been. And I suppose the challenge then is to when we're bringing people in,
to keep them, I guess.
Well, bring them in, but bring in people that are just as good. And that's where it
match what you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where it becomes a bit more challenging. And I'm quite... I like to interview everybody. I like to have at least 5 minutes with them. And that could be for a kitchen porter, a waiter. It doesn't matter to me because I want to make sure we're bringing the right people in. And for me, you can look at CVs, but I'm all about the person. And
you're more the attitude than.
Well, so when I interview someone, I look at myself. I wasn't very good at academically. So when I look at someone's CV, I'm not interested in whether they got a B in GCSEs because it doesn't matter because I didn't get a B, I didn't get a C, I didn't get a D. And I've done all right for myself. For me, it's all about the personality. Can I see them fit into the environment that we have? Can they add value to that? And if they can, and for me, it's about the personality. I've got a lot of personalities in the hotel, some big personalities, and the guests absolutely love that. So. That's how we recruit. Of course, for the more senior roles, you need to have the skills that we're looking for. But again, it's the person and the personality as well. But yeah, so that's how I operate anyway.
Yeah, nice one. But then, are you guys? Because I know there are 2 hotels. How many handpicks? 2 in Jersey. Yeah, you and the Grand, or is he on one more?
Yeah, so we've got 2 in Jersey. We've got.
Are you in good relationships?
Really good. Do you know what it's and we have since I arrived, and Tim O'Sullivan's a general manager at the Grand, and he's been there over a year now and doing some great stuff there and really transformed that business. And him and I have playful banter, because we're competitors. We're there to compete against each other, but also there to help each other. So, if they're struggling for an event or they need more staff and, vice versa, they'll help us out. And listen, at the end of the day, we're sister hotels. We're there to help each other. And because him and I have a really good relationship, everyone's close. So, we have a lot of fun together, and we wind each other up, but also that spurs us on as well. But we've got 3 hotels in Guernsey as well, and then we've got 2 hotels in Guernsey, and they got 1 in Alderney. So it's the Channel Islands are taking over, as I always say to everyone.
But then I guess because you're separated not just by water, by laws sometimes, and by everything else, it probably feels like you are just 2 on your own, 3 on their own in Guernsey and so on. And you probably, the communication probably, although might be good with the mainland, they do their own thing. What I want to get is, like, as we were talking about earlier, the benefits of being part of the group, and also could be the downsides. Are there any downsides from this point of view?
Of course not. Of course not. Listen, there's so many advantages. And I think we have proper structures in place. So from right at the top, from the owners to the CEO to below him to the people in between, the people that manage our central offices, the structures is big, and the support is amazing. So, we've got challenges. You always have a challenge, whether it be in the kitchen or reception or F&B. So we've got some roamers that roam around the hotels to support, and I've got one at reception at the moment, and they're fantastic. So when we're struggling, the support is always there, and there's a lot of expertise within the business as well. So listen, the advantages way outweigh. I mean, you say
there'll always be disadvantages, but they're minor probably comparing to.
Listen, I suppose the only disadvantage is we're in a group of 21 hotels, and when we're all asking for money,
the decisions are slower, I guess.
Slightly slower, but I understand.
But that happens everywhere.
Yeah, because we've got 21 hotels, and 21 of those hotels need something. So when you go through your capex projects and significant investment, it's going to take time because we need to make sure it's right. And we've got a lot of plans going on at the moment for the whole group where we're looking at the future. So, things aren't going to happen as quick because we've got big aspirations down the line. So it's rather than let's not make knee-jerk reactions now, let's look to the future. And, listen, there's the systems that we use, the technology that we use, everything's I can have a look on my phone now and tell you what we've taken today. So, the systems that we have are fantastic. So yeah, I mean, the advantages massively outweigh the disadvantages by miles,
You mentioned technology, and I'm sure big groups, they always are almost at the forefront. They're always the first one to try new things, to make things smoother, comparing to, let's say, a small business that they just can't afford. They just don't have the leverage sometimes, the purchasing power and everything else. Well, listen, how is this helping you?
Good. I mean, we're better now than what we were when I first started. So we've put in new POS systems into all of our F&B across the whole group, so we're now all using the same system. So if our F&B director or ops director wants to pull reports off, it's all at a finger. It's a click of a button. As before, you'd have a couple of hotels using this, a couple of hotels using that. So now, so from an F&B perspective, if we want to pull off metrics or anything like that, we've got all the information there, and we all use the same reservation system, so that helps. So we use Opera when we're checking guests in and out, and for all the reports. So I mean, listen, there are areas we can get better at, of course.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, technology is also moving so fast. It's hard to stay up to date.
Someone was talking to me a couple of days ago about technology and about putting in. It's a guy, he works in the trade in the UK, and they've just put in some self-check-in robots is the wrong word. You have the self-check, you press a button.
Is it the same like Premier Inn does it?
Yeah, and that's great, but I would never want to put that into my business because you lose the whole connection with your guests.
Yeah.
Well, and so whilst technology is great, there's some technology out there, but that is not great, and that's not great because you miss the whole personal touch of a guest. That's what we're in it for at the end of the day, is to connect with our guests. So, there's good and bad technology, but generally, the technology we use is really good, but it'll only get better now because we're evolving all the time, and but yes, it's a lot better than what it was when I started anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I see now with these places like Premier Inns, there is another one opening in town, which is going to be apartments. I can't remember the name. You might know. There is a place that's opening. It's right next to Charing Cross in this area. So
not sure.
They're working there on it. So I can't remember the name. I can't remember. It's a French name. Anyway, I'll get back to it. But yeah, they are opening there. But again, it's a self-service almost. Self-catering kind of situations, apartments.
But listen, that
I guess there is a market for that as well.
There's definitely a market for that. And there's a big market for that, But, it's each to their own at the end of the day. I work in a service environment where, we want to interact with guests all the time. I don't want a computer or a robot doing my job. That's why I got in the trade. I love being around people, that's what hospitality is all about. It's all about the people.
In the world itself.
Cool. Well, exactly. So there's a market in Jersey. You think about in Jersey with all the houses being built, the apartments and stuff. I had a guest staying with me for 2 years in the hotel.
Wow.
And it made me think, should we look at doing a self catering apartment within the hotel? And then I thought, but then you're taking away all your F&B spend because they can cook everything that they need in the room. So, listen, it's not a business for us, but there's definitely a need for it out there. But I'll stick to looking after people, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I guess some of these, they also happen because as you are in a situation where you get less and less chefs coming to your door, less and less staff altogether, it could be a solution. Probably definitely not the one I want, because I do like that human touch, and I do want to have a laugh with the waiter, and I do want to.
But that's the whole experience, isn't it? That's what I love the most about the trade. That's why I got into it. I just love the interaction with the guests, having a bit of a laugh. I think as I grew and evolved, I realised that you can only have a laugh to a certain extent. Never cross the line, as one of my old managers used to say. But listen, the one thing I love about Laurelton is that we're allowed to create magical moments. We empower our people. I empower my staff. So if they hear that someone's celebrating an occasion, whether it be a wedding anniversary, birthday, they're empowered to give those guests a glass of champagne or even a bottle. We empower them to do that, because that will be a magical moment for that guest that will make them keep coming back. So whilst it's cost us a bottle of champagne, it's also
in time that pays
off.
That
guests will keep coming back. And I think empowerment's a really important thing, as long as it's managed and controlled.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also the fact that the way I see it, it's probably easier getting a guest or a customer, even if it's, let's say, it'll be a restaurant, in the restaurant or in the hotel once, but getting them repeatedly, that's where the trick is. I'm sure you know more than anybody else.
Absolutely, but that's where you set yourselves apart from your competitors. We need to do something that other people aren't doing, and we're very good at. If people are celebrating a special occasion, we're very good at acknowledging that, and our communication across the team is really good. The housekeepers will know that they're celebrating a special occasion. My reception will, my F&B will, my chefs will, the spa will. So again, it's the whole communication piece, but the team are empowered to make decisions to enhance that guest experience, and it's something we're really good at, and it's something that is really important as well, because there's not a lot. Yes, there are hotels that do that, but I think we do that quite well, better than others actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the reason when I ask what are the benefits and the downsides being part of the group, because some of the groups they're really rigid. You can't really do that. They offer a very limited space for you to develop. But if you can do that, that's amazing. Like what are you telling me?
Handpicked Hotels, a company that develop people. We spend a lot of money training. Our training facility is amazing. We do a lot of hotels, a lot of online training, which the team find quite boring, but it's important. But what's more important is the classroom training that we do. And then we see that on I always call it the shop floor, when the team are out there mixing with the guests, you can see this training really, really helps. We're very strict's the wrong word. Training is a very important part of what we do. We're very passionate about putting together personal development plans. I remember, when I started in the train, I had a personal development plan. It was on a shelf and it stayed there and gathered dust. And we don't do that. These are live documents that if we say we're going to do something, we'll go and develop that team member, and that comes straight from the top as well at Handpicked. They're very hot on that, and rightly so, because we want to develop people but keep them in the business. If you don't develop somebody, they'll leave and they'll go and develop somewhere else, so that's really part of their journey as well, that we fulfill that.
But what's your unique selling point? I mean, I can see already a few. Without even, I only think I've been once at your place, not overnight stay or anything like that, but just for lunch or something like that. No, actually it was with work. We had a Christmas party or something, or two Christmas parties.
Yeah, good.
C5 a few years back, but I'm talking.
Have you booked your party for this year?
I'm not
We'll
in charge of
chat.
this, but I think for some reason or another, I think it's because of the being closer to the office. I think we moved to Royal Yacht or something. Anyway,
oh dear,
competition took over, I guess. Yeah.
Well, listen, our unique. I mean, the unique selling point for us is obviously that we've got the beach there. We've got the most central view of that bay. Our alfresco offering and the outlook and the backdrop to it all is something that you can't get anywhere else on the island. My job is to make sure it's the best, which is what we're working on doing at the moment. But also, I think the best thing about where we're based out west, St. Blas Bay, is that even if you're coming from town, you come out west. People call us Westies, and I've been called worse. But when you come out west, you feel like you've had a real break as well, because you're just kind of in a different zone, and we're very lucky to be based where we're based. There's not many people that can beat that. So I need to make sure that, listen, I think one of our selling points is the service that we offer. I've got a fantastic team that, I really enjoy the feedback that we get, and I'll always share that with the team. The team are our biggest asset. But obviously we're gearing up to open that terrace now, which is a really important part of the business, and an important part for the bay as well. So we're trying to do something a bit different this year, which I won't disclose just yet. But there's a lot of businesses down that bay that have done things as well, that have spent a bit of money refurbishing things. And obviously we've got the beach club that opened. This is their second year operating, and they've been really doing well. So we need to make sure that what we do is completely different, and what we do is the best out there. So
you've got the spa, you've got the gym as well.
We've got the spa, the gym.
There is one or two probably in the area, but not much. So that's again something quite.
Yeah. Listen,
I guess.
We're lucky. We've got big function space. We've got some of the bedrooms that overlook, that view from the bedrooms and the balconies is just something that we're very lucky to have. Very lucky.
What advice would you give to someone, thinking about getting into hospitality, which these days are not many people, but
don't do it now, joking.
Especially like you, when as you said, you started early, you probably didn't really feel like you were good for any other job,
listen, everyone's sort of path, goes differently. Hospitality for me, say my life's too strong, but it's changed my life for sure. Yeah. I was brought up in a family that we had quite a lot of nerds that were in the family, very clever. And then there was me and I did really well for myself. So, to get into hospitality, if you're really serious about it, you got to love people for a start. You've got to have a likability factor about your personality. You need to be committed. If you there's a lot of sacrifice. When I look at when I started, as a part-time waiter to where I am now, in between that period, you've got to make sacrifices because you can't go out with your pals every weekend when you're, I started at 15 and I think I got my first management job at 19, 20. So the time, that's the time when you should be out with your friends. So I had to sacrifice a lot. If you're willing to sacrifice and give it 110%, then you'll eventually reap the benefits. But I just love that. I love hospitality. I believe that I was put on this planet to do that because I really don't know what else I'll do. It's something I'm really passionate about, and you got to have passion for it as well. It's but the one thing I've loved. It's funny because sometimes some of my team members, I swear they think I just woke up one day and I became a general manager. So I enjoy telling them the story. Like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that, And I was lucky because, I went through all the different departments. Yeah. That's really important.
It's not as easy as it looks, for many people out there, that They think hospitality is just a walk in the park. It's definitely not.
It's not. And it never gets any easier either, because, the guest expectation is getting higher and higher all the time.
How has that changed over the years, in your opinion? Like from where we were?
Guests are looking for value for money nowadays. Money plays a big part. I mean, listen, we had 2 years of COVID where, a lot of businesses suffered and people, people suffered and all sorts. So when people are going somewhere, they're looking for value for money. They're looking to get an experience that they won't get anywhere else. So the expectation is sky high. It's a lot, I find it's a lot harder now. The expectation is, as I said a minute ago, it's sky high. So we need to make sure that we can deliver that, but then try and exceed it as well. And
I think the fact that the prices went up, it's very difficult for you to make it affordable. Keep it, to the point that people don't think like 5 times before they go for a lunch or they do an overnight stay.
And I think I mentioned it earlier. It's making, my job is to make the business profitable.
Yeah.
So if we're charging high prices, which, in the height of the season that we do, I need to make sure that myself and the team deliver the best experience possible. And, it's something we're very good at, but it's challenging. It's hard. We've got to be on the ball all the time, and we've got to make sure that we build special connections with the guests as well. And, I love doing all that. I like to hover around at check-in and check out and get to know the guests that come in the building. I think it's important, being the leader and the face of the business, that you should lead by example and do that. But it's, we need to be on top of our game every single day of the week. We can't have an off day. I don't like off days. We've got to be on it every day, and the team are great. They are.
The way I see it also in terms of pricing, it's not necessarily just competing you with Dolan's, you with whatever, with Hotel de France and so on. I think it's almost like Jersey competing with Spain, Jersey competing with Italy, Jersey competing with Greece. Good luck, Jersey competing with Turkey. Good luck with that.
It's
complicated.
On Jersey, we have some of the best landscapes around. The walks that you can go on, and we have some of the best restaurants you can go to. Some amazing hotels. We've got so much going for us. However, we can't guarantee the weather. Yeah. And when I look at last summer in particular, that was. Rubbish from a the weather killed us last summer. So it's very expensive to come to Jersey, as everyone knows. So we need to make sure that when the guests get to us, that they have a fantastic time, and we're creating magical special moments for them. But we can't guarantee the weather. As if you want to go to Turkey, Spain, you can guarantee that. But Jersey's different. There's so much going for. There's so much. I always say to people, there's so much to do in Jersey. And, there can't be much to do there. It's only in Ireland. I'm telling you now, there's so much. And we get proud talking to the guests about it and telling them exactly what they can do here, because there's a lot. There really is.
Yeah, the more excited they are about the island, it benefits you, obviously, because they'll come again probably in coming years, and if they see that there is so much to do, which, as you say, it's a lot. I mean, I've been in Jersey for over 10 years, and I don't think I've seen every corner of this island.
I haven't.
Not even close.
I've not even seen half.
Honestly.
I need to get out there more. One thing we do is whenever we take on, especially now, we take on, when we get to the summer, we take on our biggest amount of staff. So we'll send them out on a tour the island, so they can get to know the island. So when the guests are talking to them,
so they know what they're talking about.
Well, exactly, it's really important. Sense. So we and we do that religiously. Maybe I need to go on one of those actually.
Know a bit about bunkers, about the war tunnels, about all this history.
I've done a fair bit, but someone will mention somewhere to you. I'm thinking, I've never been there. And they're like, you're telling me you've not been there? I'm like, no, I haven't. So I definitely need to go out a bit more. But I'm busy. That's the problem.
No, absolutely. What's a day in your life looking like? I know it's very complicated because as a general manager, you are whatever the fire is almost.
Yeah. But listen, I do have a set road, sort of a set morning routine every day, but every day is different. That's what I love about hospitality. Some days is a great day, some days is a challenging day. But for me, I'm quite an early riser, so I get to work quite early. Sometimes when the night porters are still there, so I like to give them a bit of a shock of them, or just to check that they're doing what they say they're doing. But I go to work first thing in the morning. The first thing I do is walk the business. I want to make sure that we're prepared, we're ready. Check in with all the different head of departments, make sure that they're all good for the day. Has everyone turned up? We've got any challenges, and our communication's really good. So I'll already know first thing in the morning when I wake up, when I read the reports from the night before, how things have gone. So I always go in, generally, but we always have a good night and the morning. So so my first, I go in, check in with everybody. I like to go over to the spa, see the spa members, do that hello with them, and otherwise they get upset at me. And I always kind of organise my schedule for the week. Some of it will be around developing people. Some of it, we're working on a lot of business plans at the moment, which I can't really go into too much detail about, but it's quite exciting to be a part of it, and it can be transformational when it all comes together. Like I said earlier, I like to hang around at sort of check out time to see how the guest stay went, and check in, say hello to people. If I have to take luggage to the room, I'll take luggage to the room. I haven't got a problem doing that. Just checking with the team really. Listen, every day is different. I mean, I've never gone to work, tomorrow will be different than what it was today. We're always busy. I have a lot of guests that like to ring me direct, and I'm their personal reservationist. And, I'd spend a lot of time, replying to feedback, setting the team challenges and targets that we do every day. We meet, obviously every day we have a meeting first thing in the morning. I have a bit of a longer meeting on a Friday when I have a bit more
before the weekend starts.
Yeah, so on a Friday I'm quite religious at it. I have quite it lasts for about an hour where we look. So our weeks run from Friday to Thursday. So obviously when we get to a Friday, our week's just finished, as it were. So I like to look at so we look at the highs and lows of last week, and I'll talk about the feedback, and I'll mention some of the team's names. And it's really important that we recognise people that get mentioned. And, we talk about the weekend and are we prepared, and the guests that are coming in. We're really good at it. The communication in the hotel is fantastic. And it's funny because on a Fridays are a tough day, because if we've got some regular visitors or guests that are staying on a high rate, I personally write them a welcome card, and especially last weekend I had to write 60. Couldn't believe it. And that's a personal touch. So
that's nice.
There's not a lot of people that do that.
No.
I'm religious. I do that every day. I don't do 60 every day, but last weekend I wrote them for the whole weekend, and because that's my job at the end of the day. And I think when you get a note from the general manager, it goes a long way. I care.
I believe that. That's why I said, I acknowledge the fact that you respond to the TripAdvisor comments. And that was my first thing.
But, and I love that part of the job, because I know that I myself can make a real difference in someone's day just by writing them a note. And we're really good at communicating things, so I can see if someone's celebrating their birthday, and I can write on there, happy birthday from all the team, and it goes along. And I generally love doing that, because it's something so simple as well. It's half an hour out of my day.
Yeah. And it's such a great connection. It's an easy way of doing it, but people don't do it. I mean, look, for example, because I work with a few restaurants, and we get into the argument that some of them are like, well, we don't want TripAdvisor because people leave mean things and so on. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, but if it's not justified, you can reply to that. And if it's someone looking into the reviews, and if they see it's actually quite meaningful. If, let's say, you reply to it, they're like, you're not quite fair with what you said.
Feedback.
Or, you kind of... Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I have to sit on the fence when it comes to feedback, because I'll read the guest's point of view, and then I'll ask the team, what happened.
And if it's unfair,
and everyone's got, listen, sometimes when you ask the team, they don't always tell you the truth. So I'll ask one person, they'll give me one version, and then I'll get another, and then I have to kind of sit on the middle on it. And I'm quite diplomatic about it. But if I know for a fact, and if one of my managers say to me, Tom, that did not happen, I will challenge that guest, because that's my job. To protect my team. If we made a mistake, well, I'll put my hands up and we'll apologise and we'll do whatever we can to turn that negative into a positive. And that's something else that my team are really good at, and you know, my duty managers, etc. But there are times when we have received unjustified feedback, and it's tough to take.
Yeah.
And I'll challenge that person. And
I think it's the fair thing to do.
That's the right thing to do. You know,
Absolutely.
There's been situations where we've told people, listen, we get authorization from head office to do it first, but where we've told guests, you're no longer welcome to come back here, because that's how strongly we feel about it, and that's how strongly I believe that what you've said is incorrect. And why would you want to come back anyway?
Yeah,
you know. So
if you're not happy with what we offered, like, it's no point. It's just detrimental
listen,
for both
and people
sides.
think that, you know, whilst we're competitive, you know, us hoteliers talk to each other in Jersey, and you know, you will have guests that sort of bounce from hotel to hotel. It's like, you want to be careful.
Suspects,
you need to be careful of that one, and that's really important that we have that open dialogue with everyone else on the island as well. Yeah, we're all here for the same thing, which is to, you know, offer great hospitality. That's what we're paid to do.
Absolutely. Any plans that you can disclose? Anything that's coming? In the near, long, or
listen, we Handpicked Hotels. We've started the journey to transform the whole, the whole brand. You know, we're going on a bit of a luxury journey at the moment, so we're looking at how we can offer things different to other hotels. You know, we're doing a lot of work around competitors. I'm talking about, you know, continental competitors that do things really well. That's where we're setting the bar. So we're working on. You know, my job at the moment is to work, is what can I do that's going to put us apart from everybody else? So we're doing that for all 21 hotels. So when I look at Lorison, I suppose it's a bit easier for me because of where we're situated. I
was going to ask, would you say it's easier for you, it's easier to run, well, not necessarily to run, to make a hotel profitable here in Jersey or in the UK? I mean, it will depend. There's so many factors, but...
I mean,
what are the biggest challenges here or the UK overall?
The UK. I mean, we do. You know, listen, we did really well last year. Nowhere near what we'd hoped to do, but you know, we were last year we were profitable. This year we should be profitable, but it's becoming harder.
The weather will have a big impact.
It will. It's becoming harder, and you know, and sometimes it's a bit disheartening because, you know, we're there to you know, we want to push the business as far as we can, but this year, when I look at the cost increases, you know, last year to this year, some of them are, I mean, one of them's 40%.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah,
and we got a week's notice. You know, it's tough. So then we haven't factored that into our budget for this year. So in that particular area, we're behind already. You know, 40%. In fact, it's 41%, and there's not much we can do about it. We have to accept that. So then I'm having to look at other ways where I can try and soften that blow. But then, you know, but I love that part of the job.
Yeah, that's the challenge, for the general manager. Right?
My challenge is what can I do to bring in revenues from somewhere else? And that's the one thing I love about Handpicked. We're allowed to use our brains. You know, we're allowed to be creative. I'll tell you the one thing that, you know, and it might be controversial, that I enjoyed the most. So COVID was tough, but I'll tell you the one thing I enjoyed the most about COVID was the fact that we were allowed to use our brains. We had to be creative. And we were really creative at Lorison. We were thinking outside the box everywhere. I mean, I got my maintenance team to take one of our windows out from the front of the hotel so we could convert that into like a delivery pickup. And I mean, it was, we went nuts actually. And, you know, but also I think COVID brought for my hotel, and I'm sure for others, a real togetherness as well with the team. I knew who was with me and on the journey and who wasn't. I probably just deflected from what you said, but I can't even remember what you said now. But yeah, it's you know, we've got a lot of challenges this year, that's for sure. But you know,
but then do you think, because the reason I'm also asking these, you know, when we get to challenges, you said that, you know, the brand is moving towards luxury.
Yeah,
is that becoming even more challenging now because obviously money is not there, but are you setting up on a path where you have a very specific clientele that can afford that? It's that. What's the idea behind it? Because
So
I see a
it's-
lot of places that they're trying to almost like downgrade,
Yeah, but that's,
which I don't know if this is the right answer. I'm not challenging
listen,
it.
we're a collection of 21 hotels. We will have something different to offer, and we want to be in that luxury market. And we're working with some of the best people in the industry. We've got a fantastic sort of PR and partnership director who's, we're partnership with some of the biggest brands out there. So to give us more brand exposure. So, that's the journey that the owners and the new CEO want us to go on. And I'm fully behind it. I mean, I'm obviously doing plans at the moment and it's quite exciting. My job is to then go and deliver. Well, to deliver it. Yeah. But the fact that they're allowing us to, so, we all got told, right, we're giving back the empowerment to you as general managers. You tell us what you want your hotel to become. Now that's quite a statement, and they've allowed us to do that. Obviously, we're at the early planning stages, and the detail that's gone in. But I've spent hours, weeks on it, and I'm nowhere near finished yet. Because as we evolve, there's different things that come out. Oh, we need this now, and have we looked at that? But the future is going to be. It's exciting. I mean, and I said it earlier, I'm 5 years in, but I always say it's only 3 because we had 2 years of COVID. So for me in the future moving forward, I want to see us do this transformation, and then we'll see where it goes from there,
What about the future of hospitality? I mean, you guys have a plan. You're going to stick to it. You're going to go with it, run with it. And it's your, as you said, it's your challenge and your job to deliver whatever comes from above with the flexibility that you've got, which is amazing. Because I think it should be flexibility, because someone in the UK doesn't really know exactly what's going on. Not in Jersey. I'm talking in San Brelade. It's different.
Yeah, it's definitely different. But we have really good communication, and listen, our owners. I mean, our owners are Guernsey based. So they, they live in Guernsey, so they know. They come over quite a lot sometimes without telling me, which is nice. Like, you just see the boat coming, I'm like, right, come on, let's get the red carpet out. No, they're not even like that. They're so, they're great. I enjoy looking after them. I mean, they've done a lot for us. They've done a lot for me personally at Lorazon. So, but yeah, I mean, it's,
the future of hospitality, is it bright? Is it not?
It's a challenge, and we might have to make some compromises along the way. I mean, I like to think with all the hard work that's going on, as I said earlier, with the JHA and Visit Jersey, and we've got people now that really understand hospitality. We've got people that
want to do good for the island.
They do, and they've done good already. And I think, with the chief minister change, I think it's going to be positive.
Because the chief minister also knows about what's going on in hospitality.
But we're not going to see much change this year. We're all gearing up for a summer. I think next year we'll really see all that hard work they're putting in. So I think
hopefully there is continuity, because one of the challenges is like by the end of next year, or when there is already elections again, and then hopefully it's not like going back to the square one where you need to have again conversations about how you're gonna tackle certain things. That's I guess the main challenge with politicians all the time, because they change every 4 years, I think.
But we've got someone at the top now that knows what he's talking about. So
hopefully that will.
I think that's going to help, and it's. I think that's. Listen, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. I think we'll see more of their hard work pay off next year.
What I like is that JHA, I think, is stronger than ever.
Without question.
And it's a voice that, no matter who's coming, they'll have to listen to.
Definitely.
There's so many key players, key people in it now, that they all have like real commitment, and they all have something to lose if it doesn't go right.
When I look at some of the non-board members they appointed, and I'll mention names. Matthew Jones from the Moorings Hotel. I've been there a couple of times. What a job they're doing over there. So he gets it. So to have him on the board is really positive and important, and they're doing great things in Gorey. So, and there's loads of others as well. So we've got everybody that's got some real good knowledge of the industry, really passionate about it, and their voice will be listened. So it's like you say, I think the JHA at the moment, and I agree with you, they're the strongest it's ever been. So it can only be a positive for all of us.
Absolutely.
And long may that continue.
Quick opinion about the tunnel. What do you think?
I don't know. God, don't ask me that. I've been very diplomatic until now. Listen, I don't have an opinion. It will never happen. I think it's a load of nonsense, really. It's
very expensive.
Very expensive. It's going to, if they did it, it would take a very, very long time. And what's the benefits from it? I don't see many. It's not.
Well, but that's the hope that
it's not going to transform Jersey's problems and the challenges that we have. But I'm not. I've got a lot of interests. That's not one of my interests, if I'm being honest.
No,
you're asking the wrong person.
Well,
for
this
that.
is it. I mean, yes or no, and that we can move on. For people that want to find more about you or more about the business you're running, where are you most active on social media? Where they can find you?
I'm poor, really. I've got. When I say I'm poor, I'm on LinkedIn. In fact, I was a couple of weeks ago. I did my LinkedIn course that
well done.
Handpick sent us GMs through. So I'm a bit more.
It's important.
I'm a bit more out there on there now, and it is important. I've always been on LinkedIn, but I was more of a watcher than a doer. So I've started posting things, and I found it's really helpful with recruitment, building connections. Listen, it's like anything you get. I put a post up the other day for a position that we were recruiting for, and I said, please don't contact me if you're an agency. And my inbox has 20 messages in there, so that's annoying. But so I'm getting better. Yeah, I'm definitely from a professional business point of view. It's all about LinkedIn, and Handpicked are great because they've kind of given us instructions. Because I get LinkedIn is my account, but it's also. It's a reflection of the company I work for. True. Because obviously they're on there as my employer. So, we've gone through a whole new rebranding with Handpick. So I make sure it's all rebranded and I'm getting better. Yeah,
LinkedIn is like you put your suit on when you almost when you enter you are in a different posture. When you're on Facebook, it's a bit more of a night out, a selfie, and so on.
Exactly. But I'm planning to do a lot more on there and share some of the good things that we're doing at the hotel, the new menus that we're launching. We're really good. Our marketing's really good for Lorazon.
Do you do it internally?
Internally? So we have a sales and marketing director, and then we have a marketing manager. And they're the ones that come up with all the creative ideas. So some of that I steal and put on my LinkedIn, but that's what it's there for. But I'm getting better. But now I've had my training, I'll be even better.
Amazing, Thomas. It was an amazing conversation.
No, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. And hopefully when you put all these plans, to work, which I'm sure
we'll have a chat later down the line.
I want to see what's coming.
See where we are. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm sure the guys, I need to get someone probably from the Grant, because I'm sure they might have something in mind as well.
They certainly do.
So it will be interesting.
I'll let him tell that story.
Well, this is it. Yeah. So pleasure. And
thank you.
When the plans come to fruition, we'll
let you know.
You back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And talk more about it.
Definitely.
But till then, hopefully you get a very good summer, that's profitable and everything else, because it needs to be, because then winter is coming again and it's dark in the bank accounts, it's dark everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get together after the season and we'll see where we're at.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.